Hi there, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to our channel. Now in this video, we are going to talk about everything that you need to know before you start onboarding of Windows servers to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. And this video will be the 8th video of this particular playlist, which is a new playlist of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Now step number 1 typically starts with understanding the license itself. So now let's assume you have MDE P1 or P2. That doesn't mean that you can just go ahead and onboard servers because these license SKU do not involve or does not include servers. Instead, what you have to do is you have to log into Microsoft Defender for Cloud and you must enable Microsoft Defender for Servers Plan 1 or Plan 2 to use MDE for servers. Okay. Now, let me show you the documentation first and then things will make a lot more sense. Okay. So Microsoft Defender for Servers license. Okay. Let me just show you this part. So in this documentation of minimum requirement for Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, if you see this, to onboard servers to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, server license are required. You can choose from Microsoft Defender for Servers Plan 1 or Plan 2, MDE for Server, and Microsoft Defender for Business. Now, fundamentally, this is the one which will be selected in majority of the use cases. So I'm going to showcase how you can go ahead and enable these plans, where exactly these plans must be activated. So to activate fundamentally Microsoft Defender for Servers Plan 1 or Plan 2, log into portal.azure.com and here just search for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. This is exactly what you have to search, and then you can click on this particular option, and this is the default console. Now assume that you have not onboarded any of your subscription to this Microsoft Defender for Cloud, or this is the very first time you are opening this particular console. Then the very first console itself will give you the option to select a subscription that you have to onboard. Okay. Now make sure that you signed in with an account that has all the permissions. For example, you need to be security admin at the subscription level or owner or contributor to go ahead and make these changes. Now, let's say you have onboarded any of the subscription, then you can click on environment setting, and depending upon the account with which you signed in, you will see the list of subscriptions. So as of now, I have 2 subscriptions and I have a single management group, and this particular account with which I'm signed in is kind of owner. That's why I'm getting these 2 options listed over here. Now here I'm going to select one of my subscription. You can choose one as per your requirement. And then in this particular subscription, I have to enable Microsoft Defender for Servers. So inside cloud workload protection, you will get an option of servers. And then in the pricing section, you'll get the plan. So you can click on this option of change plan, and then you can see these 2 entries over here, which is Microsoft Defender for Servers Plan 2 and Microsoft Defender for Servers Plan 1. You can click on any of these plans and go through the set of capabilities which are available, and then you can pick and choose which one you want. Now, it doesn't matter whether you choose Microsoft Defender for Server Plan 1 or Plan 2. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is included. Okay. So in my scenario, I have selected this plan, which is Microsoft Defender for Servers Plan 2. Now, once you have enabled the plan, then go ahead and click on this option which says settings, and make sure that 3 set of options must be enabled. The very first one is vulnerability assessment for machines, then guest configuration agent, and endpoint protection. You have to enable these 3 options. Now, let's say you're going ahead with P1, then you will not get these 2 options which are listed over here. But if you're going ahead with P2, you will get all the options. But in order to make servers part work with MDE, make sure that you have selected these 3 options. Now, the question is how exactly this enablement of Defender for Servers work. Now, assume yourself as someone who is managing an enterprise named as Concepts Work, and you already have certain licenses. Let's say you have MDO and you have MDI. In this case, when you will sign in to security.microsoft.com, you will not get this option. I am assuming you don't have MDE P1 or P2 as well. If you have MDE P1 or P2, then you will get this option. But assume a scenario wherein you don't have MDE P1 or P2 and you also don't have Microsoft Defender for Servers enabled. Then in this case, this endpoint section will not be shown, as well as in assets, you will not get this option of devices. Okay. Now in this scenario, once you'll go ahead and enable Microsoft Defender for Servers, which basically means choosing MDC Plan 1 or Plan 2 for servers, what will happen under the hood that for your XDR instance, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint as a capability will be provisioned. And loosely speaking, it takes a while. I mean, it takes at least a day for this change to reflect on your portal. It can reflect within 4 hours as well. I have seen scenarios, but fundamentally, once you enable these two plans, just wait for at least 24 hours and then go back to security.microsoft.com and just verify whether you are getting this endpoint option listed over here or not. If this option is listed, which basically means MDE is activated. Now, when it comes to onboarding Windows servers, as we know, there are many different versions, but fundamentally the onboarding part can be divided into two different categories. The first category includes Windows Server 2025, 2022, and 2019. And the second scenario includes Windows Server 2012 R2 and Windows Server 2016. Now, why I have broken down this into two different categories, because it depends upon the components which are available for each OS version type. So let's say if I talk about scenario 1, wherein I have Windows Server 2025, Windows Server 2022. In this particular scenario, the MDE AV component and XDR server component, or let's say sensor component, is kind of built in the OS itself. There is no manual installation required for the services because they are built in. It's like Windows 11. Both the components exist on the server OS itself, or it is in the server. Now, for these three types of servers, you can choose either Azure Arc onboarding or direct onboarding. But the important point that you have to remember that in these three server types, both the components are built in. However, if I talk about Windows Server 2012 R2, none of the components are built in, which means it does not have AV component by default, neither the EDR sensor. So in this case, modern unified client is installed on this particular OS, which basically brings both the components. However, in Windows Server 2012 R2, there is no GUI to manage the AV component. Okay. Now, when it comes to Windows Server 2016, it has built-in component of Defender AV, which means you can go ahead and install Defender AV as a component. However, when Modern Unified Client is installed, it installs the sensor component, which is responsible for the EDR capability, or let's say for onboarding. And again, with this being said, you can choose both the Azure Arc method as well as direct onboarding. Now, for both the scenarios, be it scenario 1 or scenario 2, you see this option of direct onboarding. But let me tell you something, don't go with direct onboarding if you really want to use all the capabilities which Microsoft Defender for Servers as a plan has. In fact, there are limitations as well. And let me just make you read something, okay? So Microsoft Defender for Servers and just type direct onboarding and you will be routed to a specific documentation which lists down all the limitations. Okay, so yeah, this is that particular section. You can see deploying Defender for endpoints on your servers. Now deploying the Defender endpoint agent on the way Windows and Linux servers with or without direct onboarding, see this. However, if you go ahead with direct onboarding, there are certain limitations. You can see this is how you will enable direct onboarding. It will be there in the MDC portal itself. So let's say if I go here and close this and close this section as well, let me just click on OK and scroll up. You can see I'm getting this option of direct onboarding. I will show you a specific scenario, or in fact, it is actually same what I've shown in my last playlist. Just download the actual component and get it installed and your machine will be directly onboarded to MDE. However, it has certain limitations. For example, direct onboarding provides all the Defender for Server Plan 1 features. Some of the Defender for Servers Plan 2 features still requires Azure Arc. This is one limitation. I mean, you can read this documentation, but from my standpoint, I will always suggest that it doesn't matter which scenario you are in, whether you are onboarding Windows Server 2012 R2 or 2016 or any of these newer versions, go ahead with Azure Arc onboarding. Now, fundamentally, let's say you don't know what is Azure Arc. Then again, you can go to our channel and there is a playlist already available which has around 7 different videos. You can go ahead and watch them first and then get started with this particular part. However, with this being said, as we move along with this playlist, I'm going to talk about the basic components that you need to know, and I will be showcasing the onboarding end to end in the upcoming videos, so you can go ahead and follow them and there will be no challenge. Now, when it comes to Azure Arc onboarding, the very first thing that you have to keep in mind that you should have permissions, first of all, to enable the Microsoft Defender for Cloud license. For that, you can be either security admin or owner or contributor, and make sure you have these permissions at the subscription level. Okay. The next thing that you have to keep in mind is you should also have permissions to onboard Azure Arc enabled servers. So if you have owner or contributor permission, this is kind of sufficed. However, there is a dedicated role for Azure Arc enabled servers as well, or you can say a role which is basically required to onboard the machines. Now, make sure all the URLs for Azure Arc are whitelisted. So likewise, we were whitelisting the URLs for NDE. Be it standard, be it streamlined, make sure that you have enabled Azure Arc URLs as well. Now, fundamentally speaking, when we were discussing about Windows client onboarding through Microsoft Intune, I have showcased two different set of options which are required, and that is to push the streamlined onboarding, right? So in our case, when we'll go ahead and onboard the servers, by default, streamlined onboarding will be taken as, let's say, the default option, which means whichever machine will be onboarded now, any server machine, they will be by default using streamlined method. Now let's talk about how exactly this onboarding part is going to work. So assume you have some Azure VMs that you want to protect with MDE, and there are some servers in your on-prem environment, or let's say which are non-Azure servers. It can be on AWS, it can be on any other cloud. Now, step number one is to make sure that you get these servers which are there in your on-prem environment onboarded to Azure subscription as an Azure resource, and that's why Azure Arc exists. Okay. Now, step number two is to go ahead and activate the plan. Now, you can fundamentally choose any plan, be it plan 1 or plan 2, but then make sure that you have selected these three options in terms of activating the capabilities, because these are actually required. Now, once you do this, then as I've said before, it takes a while for end-to-end MDE option to be available on security.microsoft.com. So let's say you enable this plan today, just wait for a couple of hours, or tomorrow just sign in to security.microsoft.com and see whether you are getting the endpoint option or not. However, in this particular scenario, wherein your machines are already onboarded and you have selected all the options, an extension will be deployed to all these machines. Now, Azure is fairly simple. That's the reason why I will be showcasing Azure Arc enabled server part, because this is where you need one more component to know, and that is Azure Arc. So fundamentally what will happen, I have all the machines in my Hyper-V environment, which I will get onboarded to Azure Arc through Azure Arc script. We'll wait for a while. Since the plan is already activated, an extension will be deployed on my machines, and that will make sure that my machines get onboarded to MDE. Now, this is the Azure Arc method. Similarly, the direct onboarding method is fairly simple. You'll just download the respective package from MDE portal itself and then just get them onboarded to MDE. But in this scenario, still you need this plan to be activated. And once you wait for some time, all the machines that you have onboarded directly to MDE portal, they will also reflect in MDC portal. Now, again, I will be showcasing both the scenarios, but this direct onboarding is something that I will be showcasing for only one single OS, considering the newest one, let's say 2025. For rest of all the other scenarios, be it 2025, be it 2016 or 2012 R2, because these are the three different types of fundamentally onboarding which can be done, I will be choosing the Azure Arc part itself. Okay. This was all about knowing the fundamental concepts behind onboarding Microsoft Windows servers to MDE. In the next video, I will showcase how you can onboard Windows Server 2025 to MDE using Azure Arc method. So if you think that this channel is helping you to learn anything new, please feel free to subscribe and share this video with your technical community. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.